Hi, this is Lara at Elliott Wave Gold with your daily gold analysis done after New York has closed for Thursday 19th of September. I'm recording this video now 20 past 9 in the evening New York time. It's time to take a step back and have a look at the weekly charts. This is now my main historic wave count. This wave count sees a very big trend change up here, maybe even at grand supercycle degree, although I guess it's possible I may have my degree of labelling wrong up here, and maybe the trend change is just supercycle and not grand supercycle. Either way, I'm expecting it's a big trend change and we haven't seen the end of downwards movement yet. So far to the downside we have 1, 2, 3 has a 1.618 Fibonacci ratio to 1. And I expect that primary wave 4 is incomplete. It's probably going to be longer lasting to be better in proportion with primary wave 2. The second wave was a very deep 68% running flat correction. It is just a running flat. The B wave moves very slightly beyond the end of the A wave, and the C wave very slightly failed to make a new high above the end of the A wave, so that's a running flat, but the subdivisions are all correct. This third wave subdivides beautifully into a 5-wave impulse. The fourth wave is probably going to show some alternation with the second and be longer lasting. It's most likely to be a double, either a double zigzag or a double combination. It's still just possible it could be a flat. We could have A, B, C, more downwards movement for B and then up for C, but either way I'll be expecting more upwards movement and new highs for gold, and for this to last a few more weeks. If it lasts another 10 weeks, it would have lasted a Fibonacci 21. Primary wave 2 lasted 53 weeks, just too short of a Fibonacci 55, so I'll look out to see if primary wave 4 could have a Fibonacci time relationship. As we get closer towards the end of it, I'll look at what Fibonacci sequences could be possible there. It can't move into primary wave 1 price territory. Movement above 1532.90, even by a fraction of a cent, would firmly invalidate this wave count and give strong confirmation to the alternate. If we see price move below 1032.70, this main wave count will be confirmed and the alternate historic wave count would be invalid. I'll be looking for downwards movement to find support at the lower edge of this big maroon channel. I'm drawing it on the weekly chart and copying it over every day to the daily chart. Draw this channel using Elliott's first technique with the first trend line from 1 to 3 and a copy on the end of 2. I'll expect upwards movement for primary 4 to find resistance at the upper edge of that channel. Let's have a look at what's happening with primary 4 on the daily chart, where the start of it down here. It's this point down here. So we have a 5-3-5 zigzag trending upwards, now confirmed as complete. A 5-3-5 zigzag downwards, also confirmed as complete. Now there is one other possibility, but it looks a bit unlikely. If I move the degree of labelling here down 1 degree, this could be a zigzag for an A wave within an intermediate wave B. We could have A, B, C for a B of a flat correction. So we could have A, B, C for B, and then C if primary 4 is going to be a flat. I'm not going to chart that for you though, because it has a lower probability. Within a flat, the B wave has to be at least 90% the length of the A wave, and so far this downward zigzag, which is now over, is well less than 90% the length of this upwards movement. So if it's a B wave of a flat, well, it can't be a B wave of a flat over there. It doesn't meet the minimum requirement. What is more likely, given the guideline of alternation, because primary 2 was a flat, is that primary 4 is not going to be a flat. It's going to be a double of some description. So the second structure for intermediate wave Y of the double can either be a zigzag, a flat, or a triangle. It's most likely to be a zigzag because a double zigzag's more likely, and because of the depth of this X wave. If primary 4 was going to be a double combination, they usually have X waves which are a lot deeper than this. This one's relatively shallow, so I'm expecting a zigzag trending upwards as the most likely structure. I expect it may also find resistance at the upper edge of this channel. Draw this one from the start of intermediate wave W to the end of X. Place a parallel copy up on this high here. Look for upwards movement to find resistance there. I'm expecting primary 4 may end about the 0.618, Fibonacci ratio of primary 3 about 1529.97. Let's have a look at what's happened in the last day or so with the end of intermediate wave X down here. It's this point down here. So far to the upside we have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's possible the fifth wave is over here, and that's what my alternate hourly wave count looks at today. But if that's the case, it's slightly truncated. So this is my main wave count, although the alternate actually has a really good look. So for this one, I'm expecting the possibility that the fifth wave is not over and it's going to extend. And within it we have 1, 2, we need a third, fourth and fifth wave. At 1408, mini wet wave 5 would reach 0.618, the length of this third wave. Within it, sub-mini wet wave 2 may not move beyond the start of 1. Movement below 1359.20 would invalidate this main hourly wave count and confirm the alternate. This invalidation point is really close by. If this first hourly wave count's incorrect and the second is correct, we should know really quickly. Like I said, it's possible the fifth wave was over here, and that actually has a really good fit, because if it's over here, it's just 3 cents short of perfect equality with the first wave, but it's very slightly truncated. Overall, this wave count actually has a better look than the first hourly wave count, so they have a really close to even probability, but the confirmation point is so close by. The only reason I'm ranking this as an alternate is I consider I must because of the very slight truncation that has to reduce the probability slightly. But overall it actually has a really good look. So if we see movement below 1359.20 in the next wee while, it should happen quite quickly in the next hour or 3 or so, I will expect that we're in a second wave correction. It should be choppy, overlapping, trending downwards. It's most likely to be a zigzag, but it could also be a flat, which includes an expanded flat, which means it could have a new price extreme above the start up here. That's why there's no upwards invalidation point for this second wave count. It's far too early to say what structure it's going to take. It could be one of nearly 13 possible structures. Overall, choppy, overlapping downwards movement towards the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio, most likely at 1323.12. The 0.382 Fibonacci ratio is the first expectation. When we get down there, look to see if the structure could be complete. If it could, expect we may see a third wave up. If it isn't complete, use the second Fibonacci ratio in the sequence. Or if price just keeps on falling straight through the 0.382 Fibonacci ratio, the 0.618 is most likely. Minute wave 2 may not move beyond the start of 1. Movement below 1291.95 would invalidate this alternate wave count. At the weekly chart level, this is now my alternate historic wave count. I'm just going to look at it on the weekly chart because I've looked at the main on the weekly chart. We want them to be comparable, and I only want to focus in on this recent corrective movement. So it's possible ABC subdivides exactly the same as 1, 2, 3. So we could have a big zigzag over here. This could be the end of the correction. We could be expecting a new upwards trend to last 1 to several years. At 1961, cycle wave 5 would reach equality in length with cycle wave 1. This alternate would be comfortably confirmed with movement above 1532.90. Even a fraction of the cent above that point would invalidate my main historic wave count and confirm what is now my alternate. The problem I have with this is if we're in a new upwards trend, the first upwards movement subdivides as a zigzag. That does reduce the probability of this, although it is possible we could be seeing a leading diagonal unfold in a first wave position, so this wave count does remain viable. But leading diagonals and first wave positions are a lot rarer than simple impulses, reducing the probability for this wave count. For this one, cycle wave 4 can't move into cycle wave 1 price territory, which is now off to the left of the chart, at 1032.70. That would firmly invalidate this alternate. So I'm expecting we've either had the end of a 5-wave impulse up and we should look for a second wave correction for 1 to a few days, or we've got a final bit of upwards movement before that second wave correction starts. The invalidation confirmation point for those hourly wave counts is really close by. We should have clarity quite quickly. That's all for me today with your gold analysis, and I hope that everybody had a fabulous day.